ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्निर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। तं देशिकेन्द्रं परमं पवित्रं विश्वस्य पालं मधुरं यतीन्द्रं हिताय नृणां नरमूर्तिमन्तं विवेक आनन्दमहं नमामि। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। So, dear friends, thank you for joining this discussion on the topic Stop Not Till the Goal is Reached. And this is mainly for my friends, Thakur's wonderful devotees staying in the region of Bronx and Queens and other nearby places. But of course, I know many others join too. So when I speak to them, many times I use some Bengali words. But those who don't understand Bengali don't need to worry about it. The content will be immediately presented in English as well. তো আজকে একটা বড় মহত্বপূর্ণ টপিক আমরা নিয়েছি চিন্তা করার জন্য। Very important topic, friends. It is a part of the often quoted statement of Swami Vivekananda, which is a free rendering of a verse from Kathopanishad. As you all are aware, Kathopanishad was very dear to Vivekananda. In fact, he told his disciple Sharat Chandra Chakravarti to memorize it. It is, according to him, it is the best amongst the Upanishads. And in that, he used to quote this verse very often. And that quote is, in the Kathopanishad, it comes like this. Uttishthata jagrata prapya varan nibodhat shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadante. And he has translated it a little bit free, but bringing out the exact meaning. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. The path is very difficult, like the edge of a razor. That is how the sages have described it. Now you may wonder, why did I choose only this one part of this entire verse? I should have chosen at least arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Why did I not incorporate that as well? আমার উচিত ছিল না যে এটা পুরোটাই এ করা, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached, এই অন্তত এই পুরো বাক্য অন্তত চিন্তা করার জন্য নিলে ভালো হতো, আলোচনা করার জন্য নিলে ভালো হতো। শুধু এই লাস্ট পোর্শনে কেন নিয়েছি? তার কারণ হচ্ছে যে ফার্স্ট পার্ট, as spiritual aspirants, we all know যে প্রথম ভাগ arise, awake, সেটা আমাদের অনেকটা হয়েছে আমি বলবো। তার কারণ আমরা সবাই তো ভক্ত, ওদের জন্যই তো এই আলোচনা চলছে। আমরা ভক্ত, আমরা ঠাকুরকে আদর্শ হিসেবে আমরা গ্রহণ করেছি। We are holding Thakur as the goal of our life. Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda are our these guiding lights. We are determined to walk on their path. We agree with them that the goal of life is God realization. We have woken up to the truth. We have thus, one can say, we have risen. We have been aroused from that slumber. We know that God realization is the goal of life. So, that part is, in a way, to some extent at least, is taken care of. Now we have to march. It is important part is here, that we agree, yes, God realization is the goal of life. But then, okay, that will happen gradually sometimes. What is the hurry? ধীরে ধীরে হবে, এ তো তাড়া কি আছে, সারা জীবন তো পড়ে আছে। তো ধীরে ধীরে করব এখন। ইট ইজ, এখন আরো অনেক কিছু জিনিস আছে, ওটা করে তারপর আর গড রিয়েলাইজেশনের জন্য একটু চেষ্টা করব। That comes the feeling that okay, right now let me get busy with many other things in life, and then I will strive for God realization when the time is ripe. Mm. We feel that the time is not ripe. There are other things that are right now more important than God realization. And thus we stop our progress, or we do not even begin the progress. See, what I mean is this, that we have understood, but we don't see the urgency of doing it. We have understood, we have now known this truth that God is the reality of this whole universe. God is my true self. By reading about Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, we have understood this. But now that understanding does not necessarily become dynamic in our life. We kind of sleep over it. আছে, ঠিক আছে, ঠাকুরই সব কিছু, তিনি যখন প্রেরণা দেবেন তখন আমি হয়তো কিছু করতে পারবো। When Sri Ramakrishna will provide inspiration, then I will do something. I know everything. Yes, I have heard so many lectures. Also, I have read so many books. And so I know that. In fact, many of us consider ourselves Vedantins. I am a Vedanti. I am a follower of Vivekananda. I am follower of Sri Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi. I follow Upanishads. I follow Bhagavad Gita. We take pride in saying that, but do nothing in actually converting that understanding into experience. We are kind of stopped, hibernated on the path, as it were, and therefore observing this situation many times with myself and many times with other friends uh, associated with me. So, therefore, I decided to speak on this topic. Let us think about this, that stop not till the goal is reached. We have to begin the march in right earnest. We have that arise, awake, that part to some extent at least has been done. Mm. Do you not agree with me, friends? That the goal of life is to realize God. That is the truth. You agree that Sri Ramakrishna's life is our guiding light. And we agree to that. Now, then we sleep over it. I remember many times, even in my school days, that I knew I have to study all these things and study quickly. But that knowledge wouldn't become very functional. I would sleep over it. হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ পরে করবো এটা পড়াশোনা, এই তো সবে মাত্র তো সেশন শুরু হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ এখনই পড়াশোনা এটা উঠে পড়ে লাগার কি প্রয়োজন আছে? হ্যাঁ এখন একটু অন্য এদিকে মন দিয়ে একটু খেলাধুলা করি, হ্যাঁ আর কিছু অনেক কিছু আছে ওটা করি, হ্যাঁ একটু বিশ্রাম করব, তারপর দেখবো ওটা পড়াশোনা করার ব্যাপার ছাড়বো না। So we tell ourselves something like that, that yes, I know I need to study, but what's the point in starting it right away? There is a lot of time left. So therefore we cheat ourselves like that. This is psychology, friends. This is the psychology of inertia. Our mind is very inertiatic. Let us know this, let us remember this. You all know the in uh, physics they teach Newton's laws of motion. In high school or so, they teach how the Newton's laws, they determine all the motion in the universe, uh, except when it becomes very fast or the particles are too small. Almost all the motion in the universe gets covered by these three important laws. Uh, they were announced, acclaimed by Newton. They were Newton's laws of motion. And the first of them is a very important one called the law of inertia, which states that uh, a thing remains in the same state. I am kind of putting it in somewhat simplistic way. The things remain in the same state unless being acted upon by an external force. It doesn't change its state. Mm. So, this is something we have to remember about our mind. One of my teachers told that this law is very applicable to our minds too, that they tend to be inertiatic. So, therefore, unless we apply some pressure, it does not budge from its place. It remains just static. That same kind of routine life we keep on leading and think that, well, I am a Vedantin. I know that God is real, everything is unreal. We have read uh, many books, at least some books, and thus, while actually we do not progress much, we console ourselves by saying, yes, I know that. আমি ওইসব পড়েছি তো জানি it is আমার কথা হলো this is another deception I have seen in many people, friends, especially when it comes to the Indians. Indians, I have heard this from so many devotees, that we know all these things. Now tell us how to uh, educate the children, how to make children understand these things. As if we understand. How much do we understand? And we have read a few books, we know a few things intellectually. Are they really active, alive, dynamic in our life? That is the billion dollar, trillion dollar question, whatever number you may put. That is the question that we have to ask ourselves. See, the children will learn by looking at how we execute our knowledge, not just how much we intellectually know. The utility of that knowledge is to be seen in one's life. And that is where I see that this importance comes, that it is, we have to make that understanding tremendously dynamic. It is Sri Ramakrishna used to sing that song. I had told this story before also, but let us remember that Sri Ramakrishna was an advocate of tremendous dynamism in sadhana. He was singing one nice song of Mirabai. हरि से लागी रहो रे भाई तेरा बनत बनत बन जाए. That hold on to Hari and gradually all that your life will be uh, taken to that highest goal. Hold on to Hari. Now, hold on to Hari is, of course, Sri Ramakrishna sang without any hesitation. Then, after saying Banat Banat Banajai, he saw the devotees sitting there. And what message they will get from this? A great master psychologist. We take what is really convenient for us. That banata banata banjai, gradually it will happen. I don't have to hurry right now. Let me collect a lot of money first. Let me get all my uh, life settled down first. What is this settling down, friends? Getting into an inertiatic mode. That is what we call getting settled in life. Now I'm settled in life. Means what? Uh, I get up leisurely uh, because most of the things are now taken care of. I do my regular work. I have to do that because I need to maintain my earnings. So I have to do lot of work. So I begin my work. Then afterwards, these days, lot of work, and I have been hearing this complaint, friends. These days, lot of work, right from my childhood. That lot of work, people do lot of work, but for what? For maintaining this status quo, this comfortable level of life. That okay, so uh, I will get a big screen TV. Ah, we need some money for that. And then again, that big screen TV is to be used, isn't it? Mm. So I put on the various news channels. After finishing my work, I feel I need to unwind. So, yes, I will later on get into some meditation a little bit. But let me see what is going on in the world. So I fill my head with all the news. Then I have many such news and some discussions with my other family members. I need to have, some tea, coffee, or some such stimulant. And then, I do a little bit meditation. And even at that time, all the thoughts of this, what you read in the news, all politics, and that keeps on going. And you still, uh, we labor under this assumption that yes, slowly, gradually, it will all be taken care of. Tera banat banat ban jaye. Hmm. Sri Ramakrishna immediately said, "What is this banat banat ban jaye? Eh? Like this, it doesn't happen. There should be this kind of feeling, this kind of attitude. Now, now it should happen. Why? Now, why? What prevents us from having it now? If I am divine by nature, what prevents me now for realizing it? What prevents from realizing it now? It has to happen now. If it is not happening now, then what should I do to make it happen? Let us do that. Let us remove all the obstacles in getting that. Let us start about it right away. Not Banat Banat. Sri Ramakrishna was never an advocate of laziness. Many times that some movie pose of Sri Ramakrishna that is so, no, that is not what Sri Ramakrishna was. He was tremendously dynamic, wouldn't allow lethargy at all, would make all the devotees coming to Dakshineshwar do meditation even at night. There is a very beautiful incident reported that when they were having the discussions on God for quite some time in Sri Ramakrishna's room, it was getting late at night. They had their supper, and then they uh, decided to sleep there, Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, sleep, right? Today, why you need to go home? Stay here. So they were sleeping in the veranda adjacent to his room there. The larger veranda. That is facing the Kali temple. So they went and all slept there. It was about midnight, Sri Ramakrishna comes and starts waking them up. Hey, get up! Are you going to waste all night in sleeping? Think of it. We think that the night is for sleeping after all, and Sri Ramakrishna is saying, are you going to waste all night in sleeping? Meditate, take the name of Lord. Stop not till the goal is reached. It is a very important statement that look at Sri Ramakrishna's teachings to his devotees. Not that no, we many times take subterfuge under that statement of Sri Ramakrishna. He said, and Holy Mother repeated it, that those who come here, everything will be taken care of for them. At the time of death, at least, they will get the vision of God. So we intensify our slumber, not our sadhana, thinking that, well, I have come to Sri Ramakrishna. What more? Mother said, you don't need to care about much now. We will take care of you. Let me tell you an incident. This was told when I was in our monastic training center in Velur. This was narrated by Swami Gambhirananda, who was at that time vice president of the order, and later he became president. But he was asked this question, that Sri Ramakrishna said that whosoever comes to him, everything is taken care of, then why should we keep on doing sadhana? Does it not mean just we have come to the Ramakrishna mission, or we have been connected with it? In a way, we are connected to Sri Ramakrishna, because Swami Vivekananda has clearly stated that Sri Ramakrishna has now assumed the body of this Ramakrishna order. So we have now been in the company of Sri Ramakrishna, we have come to Sri Ramakrishna, and so he will take care of it, isn't it? So what is your opinion? Then why should we emphasize on sadhana? And that Swami Gambhirananda, he said, let me tell you a discussion that happened in a train when myself and Swami Vireshwaranandaji Maharaj, who was then the president of the order, and some other Swami, I think it was Swami Abhayanandaji, if I remember right. The three of us were traveling in the train, and then there were some in another compartment, there were some devotees just next to their conversation could be heard. They were discussing exactly this point, that Sri Ramakrishna said, the one whosoever comes here, then that is the last birth for this person. And then what is the meaning of sadhana? What should we do? Just coming to Sri Ramakrishna is enough. Rest assured that Sri Ramakrishna will take care. He himself has said that. Then they were having debate on this, that somebody said, but Sri Ramakrishna himself told you have to do sadhana, and so forth. So, seeing that there are the Swamis in the adjacent compartment, they decided to approach the Swamis. And then they put the question. And so, at that time, most revered Swami Vireshwaranandaji Maharaj, he told, and this is being narrated by Swami Gambhiranandaji to us, that Vireshwaranandaji told, it is very true. If you have come to Sri Ramakrishna, you don't need to worry. This is your last birth. But what is coming to Sri Ramakrishna? Have you ever thought about it? Coming to Sri Ramakrishna means giving up everything else. Just give up everything and come to Sri Ramakrishna with body, mind, soul. Then, of course, it is true. Not that you just harbor this misconception. "Ah, I have taken refuge in Sri Ramakrishna," while you are taking refuge actually in your money and your family and all that. Have you really come to Sri Ramakrishna? That's a question that one must ask oneself. Have I really come to Sri Ramakrishna? So that is what we must think about. That and we must realize, therefore, that look, Sri Ramakrishna himself performed so much sadhana. He has kept an ideal before us. He said, I did 100% so that you will do at least 25%. He said 16 to about 6.5% or so, 6.25%. He said, I did 16 annas so that you will at least do one anna. It is so, even that's 1/16 is a lot. Even 100th, are we doing that? Let us ask this question to ourselves. We have to stop not till the goal is reached. March ahead, go forward, go forward. That is the message that we have to therefore hold on to. And then somebody may ask, well, what is the that which stops us from going forward till the goal is reached? Now, in brief, we shall try to discuss these reasons that make us not proceed. First is, as that verse in Kathopanishad itself says, that Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. The path is like the blade of a very sharp razor, nishita, and difficult, duratyaya. To travel on that path is tough. Since traveling on that path is tough, anything that is difficult, the mind uh, just uh, comes away from it, turns away from it. You sit on something like one very nice devotee. I told, well, why don't you do this? That's too difficult. That's too complicated. Mm. And then in other things, that devotee is doing many more complicated things, you say. Mm. But mm, this is very complicated. This is very difficult. The path is difficult, no doubt. Is there a simpler path available? Mm. There is. If there is a simpler path available, then there is point in saying that, oh, this path is very difficult. The choice is that the life is in general very, very difficult. Whether you go towards the as your goal of life or just rot in the world. What is there in the world? Just rotting, isn't it? A wasting time, a rotting in all this dirt, filth of sensual enjoyments. So, is there a way other than, this? There is no other way. Nanyapantha vidyate ayanaya. There is no other way. So, why is there a question about that this path is too difficult? Okay, take something that is simple. Any path has its own difficulties. The first of part of that is our inertia. So that has to be kicked out. I have to do it now. I have to do it now. Never say from tomorrow. That never comes. Let me do it now. It is. Otherwise, the time just keeps on running. Ah, in our mundane, time bound world, it is an independent variable, as they say. It moves on, does not care whether you come along or not. It moves at its own pace. So it does not, as they say, time and tide wait for none. The time moves on. The You say the age is increasing, the hair, even if we don't want, are getting gray. Even if we don't want, the uh, energy and power in our body and senses is dwindling. Mm, that as it is very beautifully told that by Bhartrihari in his Vairagya Shatakam, that look, everything that has deteriorated, but the passion, the desire, lust, that has not weakened at all. And that is how this life is. A time moves, that it is muli vali bhir mukhamakrantam. He says vali bhir mukhamakrantam paliten ankitam shirah gatrani shithilayante trishna eka tarunayate. That desire alone is young as ever, green as ever. The beautiful face is now covered by wrinkles. The head that had a nice black this hair at one time, now it has become the gray and giving warning that the death is approaching. It is called in one by one Marathi poet that Kritanta Katakamal Dhwaja Jara Disu Lagali, that this white hair is compared to the, the flag, dhwaja, the flag of the death. that the death is approaching. This is the, the flag of the death that you see, the graying of the hair. So it is happening. Gatrani Shithilayante, all limbs have now much reduced power than what they used to have in childhood. Mm. Now, but what has remained unchanged? Trishna eka tarunayate. That Trishna, that lust, that desire, that hasn't weakened. So time just flies, goes before we know. Oh, so many years have passed in life. So, therefore, do not push the things to tomorrow. It is now. That is the important part here, friends, of not stopping till the goal is reached. It is at least begin now. It is the speed doesn't matter actually. That is what is the real meaning of banata banata banajai. Steadfastly hold on to God. That was being impressed. But our comfort seeking psyche, হুম, আমরা সব ওটাই তো চাই যে আরামে সব কিছু করব। হ্যাঁ, ধীরে ধীরে আস্তে আস্তে লাহে লাহে আসামিজ ওরা বলে লাহে লাহে, হ্যাঁ, দ্যাট সো ধীরে ধীরে হইবে। তো দ্যাট অ্যাটিটিউড হ্যাজ টু বি গিভেন আপ। Now, let me begin the journey now. The path is difficult. Well, what it means is I have to develop my skills more. Hmm. I have to work hard. That's it. What is the meaning of difficult? It is to be done. There is no escape from that. You have only the choice. এই কর্দমে এই নোংরায় জীবন ব্যতীত করব, না ভগবানের দিকে যাব, ওই আনন্দ সাগরে অবগাহন করব, না এই সব কিচড়ের মধ্যেই পড়ে থাকব। এটা এই কাদার মধ্যে পড়ে থাকা, এটা কি জীবন হলো? এটা তো কোনো মানুষের যোগ্য জীবনই নেই। তো এটা জানতে হবে যে এখান থেকে আমাদেরকে উদ্ধার করতে হবে, যেতে হবে। যদি আমরা এই যাওয়ার জন্য এগোই, তাহলে সব প্রভুর কৃপা পাবো, প্রভুর সাহায্য পাবো, সব কিছু পাবো। কিন্তু আমাদেরকে ঠিক করতে হবে। We have to determine, friends. That determination that I have to move, that is the first step. Path is difficult. Yeah, let it be difficult. It is. I will be able to do that. Second problem comes is we take up the sadhana, the practice. But in that practice, a lull comes that, okay, I am doing a little bit, as much as I can. And I have been doing meditation half an hour or 45 minutes or sometimes 1 hour, maybe every day. What more is needed? So we become kind of complacent in the journey. We are on the journey, but become complacent. And then they taking this opportunity that we are complacent, the ego attacks us, Maya attacks us. It takes away the spirit of sadhana. The external form of sadhana continues. That yes, I am meditating. Yes, as the Guru told, about half an hour I meditate, I do the japam, uh, mantra. Uh, it is, of course, not always very good, but I try my best. It is, and I am okay with that. It is, after all, as householder, how much can I do? So, and that is enough. Many, and we cite examples. আরে আমাদের অনেক আমাদের মধ্যে কেউ তো কিছুই করছে না, আমি তার ওদের চেয়ে তো একটু ভালো আছি compared to so many others who don't do anything. I am at least better than them. So we start patting our back for that I am very good. And thus that complacency comes in, and therefore that ego comes in. We even do not notice that our march has been stunted because it doesn't depend on how much time I am spending in meditation. I may be spending some time, but is it really, is the meditation happening? Is the journey really happening? It depends on the love, the spirited progress has to happen. That is and the engine for is that devotion. That all the worldly attractions have to be severed, cut off mercilessly. Don't show mercy to those. If we show mercy to those, then it will get retarded. My progress will get retarded even without my noticing it. Because externally, I will be doing the same thing. Hmm. Like in the car, I am still pressing the accelerator a little bit and holding the steering, moving, but I am unconscious that the car has been put in the reverse gear. So, because the in the taking advantage of complacency, the ego enters, and I think of myself as a great spiritual aspirant. Mm. I start taking pride, telling others that look at me, I am a great spiritual aspirant, great follower of Sri Ramakrishna, and so forth. Thus, we do not actually progress because of this complacency. It affects many spiritual aspirants. And thus, although external form of our life is like sadhana, the spirit of sadhana is uh, reduced or completely gone from it. So that is the other reason that we do not make progress, we stop there. Third thing is that we feel that okay, now let me take some rest, and then the rest gets longer and longer. Many times I have witnessed this, that when we go on a long drive, then after a few hours of driving, then we need to take a break, take some snacks, tea, coffee, and then, unless we are very particular, unintentionally, the time of stop goes on increasing. Hmm. Uh, okay, let us finish this, let us do this. আর দেখো এই ওই জিনিসটা কত ভালো ওখানে। আম, তো all those things, the attractions come there. So uh, if we had really needed to stop for 10 minutes, we stop over half an hour. This has, I have witnessed this many times. And in our spiritual life also, this problem does crop up, friends. That because of the attractions around, when we stop thinking that I have gone ahead a lot, now I need a break. So I take a break, and that from the break again, the inertia becomes a problem to start. So we should remember this, that this has to be continued. This has to be continued. The progress has to be relentlessly continued. That perseverance has to be practiced. The goal should never be lost sight of, that I have to reach there. Stop not till the goal is reached. Another thing happens when a spiritual aspirant advances, and because of the advancement feels a sense of calmness in life, sense of joy that comes because of the advancement in spiritual life. God is bliss, God is peace. এই জন্য আমরা যখন এই সাধনা করে এই মার্গে এটা এগোয়ে অনেক দূরে এসেছি, এখন আমরা ভগবানের অনেক কাছে চলে এসেছি। তো এই জন্য ভগবানের যে গুণ, আনন্দ আর শান্তি, এটা আমাদের জীবনে দেখা যাবে। And then that again has the potential to pull us back, that okay, I have almost reached. Hmm. I have almost reached. Now just a little bit is left. Hmm. Let me rest a bit. I'm feeling a bit tired now. So let me now rest, and the goal gets forgotten. It is, we all know that childhood story of the race between a rabbit and a turtle. Now, naturally, the rabbit was running very fast. So, when they came to the destination, very close to the destination, the fellow looked back and saw that the turtle is far behind. So, instead of reaching the point, and then after that, there is nothing to be done, I agree. But before that, this fellow says that let me take it easy, let me relax here, sleep a little bit. That poor turtle is still so far away. And then you know the story. So, therefore, it is important to keep on reminding us, stop not till the goal is reached. Let us keep the high energy level, that yes, I have to keep progressing ahead. Let me not fall back. It is just as in these corona days, they say that don't lower the guard. In many places, including our Rhode Island, the cases started rising because so many people around. they thinking that, oh, now things are good. So they have lowered the guard, and now we have to see that things have just gone haywire. So in our life also, we have to, see this. Don't lower the guard. Be disciplined. That it is. In Narada's aphorisms on devotion, one very important aphorism comes. Nishchay dardhyad urdhvam shastra rakshanam. That before we get into the current of the true spontaneous natural, that spontaneous true devotion, uh, we have to go by what the scriptures say, that is, follow the disciplines required in life. Do not just say that, well, after that, love needs no, love is freedom. Why do I need discipline? Do not quote the sayings of, yes, Radha and all such great devotees who have nothing but Krishna, nothing but God in their awareness. So, Narada sees that possibility that a person, a devotee, who is not at that level, will also try to think that, okay, now I have made some progress. The scriptures are not now needed for me. No, Nishchay Dardhyad Urdhvam Shastra Rakshanam. That it is, even though you Nishchay Dardhe is there, you have now determination, a good that idea, and the perseverance, the determination is there. But now don't relax. Mm. Keep on holding to the injunctions of scriptures till you go beyond these relativities. It is, I had told you that before, that the discipline works to prevent our sliding down. It is, discipline in itself may not be of any positive value. Discipline in the sense, the rudimentary disciplinary life, like you uh, do your prayers, meditation at the appointed hour, get up early, uh, follow the disciplines of food, and all such things, uh, so that they provide the uh, mm, a block that prevents from sliding you down. I told you that when they were pushing a truck mm, up on the upward slope, now they would push, but then the strength will be uh, lost for after pushing, and then they would stop to catch a breath, and then the truck would slide down. So to prevent that, after they push, one of them would bring a stone or a big wooden block and put under the wheel of the truck, so that now that block is not pushing the truck ahead, but it is preventing it from sliding down. So, therefore, the discipline is to be practiced, friends. And thus, by practicing the disciplines and never bringing down the guard till we realize, stop, not till the goal is reached. এটা খুব প্র্যাকটিক্যাল কথা, সহজ কথা, কিন্তু এর প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ইউটিলিটি অনেক আছে. Let us keep on reminding ourselves that this thing is to be kept up in our mind, that I have to keep on uh, going forward. going forward till the goal is reached. Stop not till the goal is reached. This part of the whole statement is very dear to me. And so I keep on meditating on it. I am very thankful to you for letting me have another hour long meditation on this, a very useful, practically beneficial idea. Uh, if there are any questions, we will take them up. Uh, are there any questions?
No questions.
Okay, our Juhi friend says that there are no questions today. So let us conclude with the prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you, friends.